I've got drywall that I just put up and put some mud on the seams. And if you read on the back of your mud, it says you can sand it with a wet sponge or a wet cloth versus using like my orbital sander and vacuum setup, which still makes a lot of dust. So I'm gonna try that. I have a feeling the reason they suggest that is so that you don't make dust, and you can't sue them for getting, you know, your lungs messed up from breathing in the dust. And so they say if you use a wet sponge or wet cloth, you can sand, and that creates much less dust, which therefore gives much less risk on their part. And let's see, let me get you a real rough section here you can focus on. Let's see how it goes. It works to a degree. Like if you have some really light sanding to do, you see that smoothed it off. But I've got some imperfections like this spot right here. And what I've got is a microfiber towel with a piece of wood inside of it. So, not that great. I mean, it works okay for just little spots, like say this. Got a little spot there. Well, that was a lot of work though, for such a little spot, right? And now, do I need to apply maybe more water? So let's give a little water here. Maybe that's the problem, I don't have enough water. It's gonna be kind of a lot of water, so I'm gonna squeeze some of that out. And let's try it on that spot again. See what happens. I'm worried, you know, I'm not gonna be able to go to dry sanding right after this, because I'm gonna have to wait for that to dry now. So let's give it, with this amount of wetness, let's give it one more try on a small spot. Say, can you see that? Yeah, we can see that. We're good, not too much pressure there. Now, see that? It left kind of like that. I'm gonna take my towel, and that's not really grooved, it's more just, you can see it wipe away there. Some left over on the outside. I'm gonna get more of a dry spot on this rag here and wipe that away a little bit. There we go. So overall, does it work? Yeah, it seems to work pretty good. Can you just take a rag itself, do a little area, do a little orbital here, see how that turns out. Turns out okay, getting a lot of little dust here. But, I mean, essentially, see how that just wiped right off? What you're doing with this water is just re-wetting this and taking a certain amount of it off. So I don't know if that's a good idea or not. If you're gonna go too deep, you gotta be careful of that. And how flat are you really getting it? So there's your sanding test with a quote-unquote sponge or a rag. I think I might stick to dry sanding unless I'm in somebody's house, you know, doing a drywall repair, and I want to be really careful of the amount of dust I'm creating. Then this could be good for that small area. But obviously, if you're doing a big wall, that's just not gonna cut it. You're gonna need power sand, obviously. So yeah, we'll see how that dries out. Here's the other spot that was kind of wet. And I think I'd still rather attack that spot with a dry sander, just because I know there's no tape behind there and I won't have to worry about going too deep. This area here, I am a little worried that my tape was kind of popping out. So I'll have to see how good I can get that with the dry sander.